In their daily work, police officers are used to dealing with crime, chases, and danger. But there's another kind of threat, quieter, unpredictable, and sometimes even more dangerous than people. From aggressive dogs charging through suburban neighborhoods, to zebras and deer attacking humans, to unexpected pursuits involving cows, donkeys, or even calves on city streets. Each encounter caught on camera reveals just how thin the line can be between order and the wild. This is Animal Encounters, when police meet the wild. Real incidents captured through police body cams and official reports. The first incident began on a quiet suburban afternoon, when an 11-year-old girl was simply walking home from school, unaware that, within seconds, she would be fighting for her life. On May 13, 2022, in a residential neighborhood in the United States, 11-year-old Mariana McRae was walking home from school when two pit bulls from a nearby house suddenly charged at her.
In a broom, so I will try to fight them off with the broom.
The dogs bit into her arms and legs as she tried to defend herself with a broom. A responding officer arrived just in time and managed to bring the situation under control.
Hey.
Mariana suffered serious injuries and was hospitalized for treatment. One of the pit bulls later died after being taken to Summer Animal Hospital, and their owner was charged with allowing an animal to cause injury to another person. But this would not be the last encounter. Another officer would soon face a similar situation, and this time, he wouldn't be as lucky. On April 24, 2022, an officer was dispatched to a residential area on Midland Avenue to check a suspicious vehicle parked near a home. As he approached the scene, a pit bull suddenly burst out from the front yard and clamped down on his leg. According to the report, he sustained a deep wound to his thigh, but was fortunate that the injury was not life-threatening. Following the incident, the dog's owner was ordered to surrender the animal's remains for rabies testing, and the entire event was documented in an internal investigation. From this attack, police departments renewed their warning to pet owners. Always secure your animals, because even a routine call can turn into a life-or-death situation in seconds. Case 3. Zebra attacks 72-year-old Ronald Clifton in Ohio. On March 12, 2023, in Circleville, Ohio, 72-year-old Ronald Clifton was viciously attacked by a male zebra on his property. The animal bit deep into his right arm, nearly severing it below the elbow. When deputies from the Pickaway County Sheriff's Office arrived, they found Clifton lying on the ground, bleeding heavily, while the zebra continued its aggressive behavior, even charging at the patrol car. One deputy used the vehicle's siren and loudspeaker in an attempt to drive the animal away, but when it kept advancing, he was forced to shoot and kill it. Clifton was rushed to Grant Hospital in Columbus for emergency treatment, and family members later confirmed that doctors were able to save his arm. Now, moving on to another case. Case 4. Moose wanders into residential neighborhood in Ottawa. On July 22, 2019, residents of the Falling Brook area in Orleans, Ottawa, reported a female moose wandering through the neighborhood along Vallon Street, prompting authorities to respond for public safety. Around 9:45 a.m., the animal became cornered between two houses on Vallon Street. Bylaw officers, working alongside the National Capital Commission, NCC, and local police used a tranquilizer dart to subdue it before safely removing it from the area. According to the bylaw department, the moose was released back into the wild in stable condition, suffering only mild disorientation from the sedative. This marked the second moose incident in Orléans within 2 months. The previous one, on June 4, 2019, had ended tragically when the animal died from stress and exhaustion after being released into La Rose Forest. Continuing with another case, this time, an unusual chase between police and a bull. On March 30, 2022, in Stafford Township, Ocean County, New Jersey, USA, a 9-month-old bull named Butch escaped from its pen and wandered into the residential area of Hilliard Avenue, where it began attacking a front yard mailbox. Officers from the Stafford Township Police Department, including Officer Pascal, were dispatched to the scene. Bodycam footage captured the strange moment as the officer reported over the radio that the bull was busy assaulting a mailbox right now. The bull rammed and tugged at the mailbox until officers, assisted by animal control, managed to restrain it. Aftermath. The bull was safely secured and guided back to its enclosure after the scene was contained. No injuries were reported. Leaving the bull case behind, we move to another unusual pursuit, this time involving a runaway donkey in Arkansas. On March 25, 2016, in the residential area of Fayetteville, Arkansas, USA, a miniature donkey unexpectedly escaped from its enclosure and took off through several neighborhood streets. Patrol units and animal control officers pursued the donkey across yards, empty roads, and open fields. With the help of a local farmer, officers eventually managed to restrain the animal using a rope lasso. No injuries were reported, and the donkey was safely returned to its owner once the area was secured. Continuing with another case. This time, one at higher speed, and the attackers weren't human. On April 30, 2023, in the city of Florence, Alabama, USA, police officers were dispatched to a residential neighborhood in response to a neighbor dispute. Upon arrival, they discovered 2 aggressive dogs roaming freely in the front yard. As one officer approached to close the gate, one of the dogs slipped through the opening and lunged at him, biting his arm, thigh, and leg. In a defensive reaction, the officer drew his firearm and shot the attacking animal, while the second dog was also struck when it came too close. The officer sustained multiple deep lacerations and was transported to North Alabama Medical Center, where he received treatment and additional rabies vaccinations. The dog's owner was cited for allowing an animal to cause injury to a law enforcement officer. Leaving behind that violent encounter, the next case shows that sometimes even pet owners themselves aren't safe from the animals they raise. Case 8. Owner mauled by his own pit bull in Shelby. On the evening of December 10, 2016, in the city of Shelby, Ohio, USA, police received an emergency call from a woman reporting that her boyfriend was being attacked by his own pit bull inside their bathroom. When officers arrived at the scene, they could hear screams coming from inside the house. Police forced entry and deployed a taser in an attempt to subdue the animal, but it showed no sign of backing down. The pit bull continued its attack, forcing one of the officers to open fire and kill the dog to save the victim. The man sustained severe injuries and was transported to Ohio Health Mansfield Hospital, then later transferred to Columbus for surgery. The pit bull was pronounced dead at the scene, and the incident was classified in the internal report as a justified use of force to protect life. From vicious dogs in quiet neighborhoods to zebras on open fields and unexpected chases involving bulls, donkeys, and calves on city streets. All of it proves one thing: danger for police officers doesn't always come from people. In each encounter, instinct and training collide within seconds, forcing officers to act on the razor-thin line between protecting the public and preserving their own lives. These incidents are recorded not just as reminders of how unpredictable the job can be, but as proof that sometimes nature remains the most powerful force humans ever face. You're watching Animal Encounters, when police meet the wild. If you want to keep exploring real moments captured through police cameras, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next episode.